It's with great pleasure, obviously, that I welcome you to the Norwich Electric Forecourt today. And on behalf of the whole team, it's really great to see all of you here today. I'm Chris, and I'm the General Manager, and like I said, it's a real pleasure to be part of opening the second Electric Forecourt for Gridserve. We'd like to say a special thank you to some local businesses who've supported us with today's event. These include Specialist Building Supplies, Lidl, and South Norfolk Developers, and also the Porsche Centre Norwich, who very kindly supplied one of our vehicles on site today. I'd now like to hand you over to Toddington Harper, our CEO, to take you through a short presentation today.
Hi everybody. I was about to say, can you hear me? But hopefully you can. It's really exciting to be here today to go in and out, but is that okay? Really exciting to be here today to open this absolutely amazing project. This is what it looked like about 12 months ago. It was a visual. We had an idea, we had a plan, and we wanted to make it come reality. And I thought I would share that picture with you rather than the actual pictures, because you can see the actual pictures because you're here today, and it's all very real. But this really just did start off with a plan. It started off with a plan and an amazing team, and an absolute ambition and desire to make a difference and to make it happen. If you look at what we said we were going to do compared to what we have actually built, it's a pretty epic achievement. And it hasn't been easy. People suggest that we would assume that the second electric forecourt that we would build would be easier than the first. It has not been the case. COVID has been extremely challenging. The global supply chain issues that have followed are extraordinary. I mean, how many of the actual components that we see here today were actually the real ones we were originally planning is a very good question. But it's been, it's just evidence, evident by, what can be achieved when you have the belief and desire to kind of really make a difference and to make it happen. So, thank you all for coming today. There's really three things I just wanted to say to you. Firstly, it's just a huge thank you. Thank you to everyone for coming here for a start. Thank you to everyone for supporting. There's some really amazing, but particularly people that are recognised in the audience who've written some just fantastic things about what we've done. Bloggers, newspaper journalists, EV enthusiasts, supporters, etc. Thank you so much. It's so important when you kind of do what we are doing, which is on a mission to really kind of make a difference. Then it's really helpful that we have that support, because people who aren't as close to what we do, such as people who didn't have electric cars, which was a lot of people not so long ago, they really get buoyed on when our investors, when they see people writing fantastic things about what we're achieving. So thank you for all of the amazing support for everybody. Thank you to our incredible team. What an amazing bunch of people that many of them are here today. Who just kind of make it happen. I mean, I'm the one here standing here, but I'm not the one that built this project. And the hard work has just been done by so many people. Literally hundreds of people who've come together to kind of make a project like this happen. It's just not straightforward. This is the first ever compact electric forecourt of its type, and it's come out of just sheer persistence and work from so many amazing people who kind of back all of the conditions. To really be able to deliver a project like this. So thank you to all of our amazing team. Thank you to our partners who just supported us. Thank you to WH Smith. Thank you to Costa, M&S. Everybody who's really kind of come together to continue to back projects like this and deliver projects that support the mass electrification ahead of demand. Thank you to people in the local area who supported us again, getting projects like this over the line. Thank you to the local councillors. Thank you, big government gets a little bashing a lot of the time, and I'm sure some of that's very valid. but when it comes to the whole EV transition, it would not be possible to do what we do if it wasn't for the absolute clear direction of travel we get from government. And so thank you for that as well. To talk to some of the most, if I haven't thanked anybody, you're thanked. When I say apologies if I missed anybody out, but please, I absolutely mean it. We all mean it from the bottom of our heart. Also, couldn't miss an opportunity like this to talk to such influential people without, raising this particular subject, which came out a few weeks ago about the IPCC report, which I'm going to go into. I'm then going to go into briefly talking about Gridserve, what it is we're achieving and why we're achieving it. But just to kind of, bring this point, and it is a bit sobering, but it is very important. We have all been very distracted, rightly so, this last couple of months, because there's really terrible things going on in the world, particularly in Ukraine, and the cost of living crisis, the price of energy, and all of these things are a huge, huge distraction for us. But something happened. The report came out earlier this month, which is just absolutely devastating. It's so important for all of us. It didn't get the airtime that it needed. It's really, really important to kind of share some of this information with you. So this is the IPCC report. IPCC is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It's the United Nations top table of scientists who keep publishing their reports. And the 6th edition came out. So to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees C, global greenhouse emissions would have to peak before 2025 at the latest. Emissions would have to peak before 2025 at the latest and be reduced by 43% by 2030. So you can't see this map here, but this is the direction of travel and this, on this curve here. On our current trajectory, it's going to continue to go like that. And if we're going to limit to 1.5 degrees, it's got to follow this bottom curve here. And in order to do that, it's got to peak by 2025 at the latest. 2025 is 32 months away. It's less than 1,000 days. If we don't do that, the words have got even starker. It's now or never. If we want to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees C, which would avoid mass destruction of species and all sorts of devastating consequences, without immediate and deep emission reductions across all sectors, it will now be impossible. Impossible. We've reached that stage. We've heard the warnings, we've heard more of the warnings, they kept coming, and now we've heard this is the ultimate warning. And this is what was announced earlier this month. And it's just so important because 1,000 days, less than 1,000 days, who's going to deliver that? It has to be us, not just Gridserve, but us, all of us now, living and able today. We have to hear the call to action. So I just really kind of wanted to raise that awareness because there's so much other things going on in the world, but this continues to happen. The warnings get starker, and the time frames are now more desperate. There was also some positive messaging that came out of this as well, saying yes, we're at a crossroads. We're either going to actually fix this issue that only our generation now, only us living and able today, will ever have the ability to fix, or we're not. So if we are going to fix it, fortunately, there's a lot of positive things happening in the world. There's a lot of policy. There's a lot of movement, and the direction of travel is certainly, whilst not in exactly the direction where we need to be, it's certainly heading, in a more positive direction. And fundamentally, we have options in place in all sectors to at least halve emissions by 2030. So it is possible. It actually is possible. But it's only going to be possible and it's only going to be achieved if we actually take action now that moves the needle on climate change. And so, why am I explaining this to you? You're in an electric forecourt now, and I just thought it would be useful to kind of set the context and remind people what's behind us building infrastructure like this. What underpins every single decision that we as an organisation are taking. And right at the very front of that, Gridserve, we call ourselves a tech-enabled organisation. We have to use technology to address this crisis. We're never going to be able to get out of this without using technology. We're a sustainable energy business, and our purpose is to deliver sustainable energy on such a scale that we can move the needle on climate change. And what we mean by that is change the trajectory. Because if we keep doing what we're doing, we only chip away at this, we're not going to transform the situation. And so what I now want to talk about is something a little bit more positive. Because that's the situation. It sounds desperate. 2025, can it really be achieved? Is it really possible? Like, is any of this possible? Well, we believe it is possible. And I just wanted to kind of, add some, highlights about how, it's possible for even an organisation like ours, which is by no means one of the biggest companies in the world, is able to deliver the transformation and the change that we're delivering in a very, very short period of time. And if others, continue to rise to that, and if people in this room continue to support it, it really is possible. So we're building what we call a sun-to-wheel EV charging ecosystem to take over from well to wheel. Our focus is both delivering an incredible charging experience, awesome charging experience for drivers, for all types of electric vehicles, and also accelerating EV mainstream adoption. Why we've got electric cars here, why we've got a leasing team around here. It's not just about putting the infrastructure in, but to get it used, to get it working, to deliver that carbon benefit, people need to get into EVs. So if anybody here hasn't come in an EV, please get one today. Not necessarily from us, if you want to lease one from us, that'd be fantastic. Please get one. Why not? And if you charge at our network across the UK, it's already net zero today. So the government's target is net zero by 2050. Our network is net zero today, and it's getting and it's getting better every single day. So there's a number of different components to our system. It's about energy, charging the cars. We produce energy from hybrid solar farms. We distribute it through electric forecourts and electric hubs. And we supply it into electric vehicles through our EV leasing business. And I'm just going to briefly talk you through some of that. So this is an example of something which we delivered. It was our first large solar project in the UK. We delivered this. We built it in 5 months. And it produces enough energy for 20,000 electric vehicles for an entire year, or more than 2 million charges on our network. I'm talking about this now, but in a couple of months' time, I don't know if that's better or worse, but in a couple of months' time, we're going to announce a new, our next hybrid solar farm, which is going to supersede this as the most technologically advanced hybrid solar farm in the United Kingdom. I'm really excited about showing that with you. And this is just an example about what can be delivered in a very short period of time. In terms of EV charging, we acquired the charging network for electricity, I'm sure you're all aware, last year. And in a very short period of time, in less than 10 months, we've replaced every charger on the motorway network, upgraded over 170 locations in total. So about a year ago, people were rightly concerned that they couldn't charge at motorway sites. Hopefully you're all clear now that you can charge at every motorway site. They've now got at least 85%, they've got reliable chargers, they've got the latest technology, contactless payment, and of course, the 27 support, but of course there aren't enough of them. And so we're not only focused on delivering a new network, and this map here represents all of the new chargers, all of the sites with new chargers operating today. Again, all of that developed and delivered in less than a year. But of course, we need many, many more chargers, and we've been working on that as well. So we've been developing hubs. In fact, we're going to call them, we're going to rename them super hubs. Why do we think they're super? Because they're able to deliver 100 miles of charge in only 5 minutes. We think that makes them pretty super. We've also learned a lot about how we can communicate with the general public. When we talk about things like 350 kilowatts, it doesn't really mean much to them people. People don't really understand the difference between this charger and that charger. But we think that if we name like super hubs, then people will really start understanding what is this infrastructure and why is it better and how it can serve the mass market. We have many, many of these sites under construction right now. We've got double digits numbers of these hubs being lined up for construction in the next few months. And they really do remove any anxiety about EV charging and enable the shift to large numbers of EVs. So thank you for everybody around in this room who's also written so positively about these sites. And of course, we're here today because it's the second electric forecourt. The first electric forecourt was an incredible success. And when I go back there, and I often turn up unannounced, sit in the corner, and just observe and watch what's going on. And one thing I'm most interested in is how it's become part of the fabric of the local community in such a short period of time. And actually, we boosted EV take-up more than twice the national average in the local area of building that.
So, but we're here today to celebrate the launch of Norwich Electric Forecourt. This is now the largest, it's got more high-powered chargers than anywhere else in the United Kingdom. We've got 22 350 kilowatt chargers, 8 Tesla 250 kilowatt chargers, and 6 DC, 6 AC 22 kilowatt chargers as well. We have the same footprint that we have in Braintree, but in part of the physical area. Something we're very proud of is that we've helped localise it. 40% of the work on this site is carried out businesses within the local area. 70% of all the steel was recycled. The actual building itself that we're in is energy neutral, so we produce enough energy to actually power the building from the building itself. The thermal efficiency is 3 times better than Braintree, and all of the timber that we use was from sustainable sources. And that's just an example of what we learned from achieving, not just one electric forecourt, but then the second one. And we're really, really excited about continuing to deliver our plans to deliver over 100 of these sites over the next few years. So, in terms of what we've achieved in a very small period of time, we think it's really evidence that moving the needle is possible. So last month, we charged over 85,000 cars in the UK from brand new chargers, the vast majority of which we delivered in less than a year. So I started off this presentation talking about what we are, we're facing. We've got 1,000 days to address, put the world on a different trajectory. Is it really possible? So 85,000 cars charged in 1 month, in new chargers that have been delivered in less than a year. It's absolutely possible. We've experienced 100 times growth on our network in less than 12 months. It's entirely possible that we can achieve this. The IPCC goal is achievable, but we need to work together and we need everyone's support because we are all part of this solution. But we also need your support and your help because people know now that Gridserve deliver chargers. People know that we've got a great charging network that's reliable. But there aren't enough people in electric cars yet, not a fraction of them. I'm not going to buy an EV because the charging network isn't there. That argument doesn't wash anymore. Certainly not for the people of Norwich, who now have this solution. But EV take-up in this area is significantly lower than the local average, the national average. And we need your help. So we're doing everything we can. We built this amazing EV leasing site for 113 cars on offer at the moment. So every car on here can be leased from around £200 to £280. That's just a fraction of them. There's 113 more. Every car we lease, we arrange a specialist tree planting company to plant over 100 trees. In addition to that, we're now offering 1,000 miles of charging across our whole network, 85% of the motorway network, all the forecourts, included with every car. People don't know that we do that. And so one thing I would really ask for your support, people in this room, is please help people understand that now is the time to get into EVs. Please help them understand that Gridserve don't have to get EVs from us. People will probably charge on our network infrastructure anyway, but it's just important people do get into electric cars. And so we have a leasing business, we're trying to help people, we're trying to move it, and we need to increase the rate of growth. So please, if there's one ask I could ask from everybody in this room, please do everything you can to get more people into electric cars as quickly as possible, particularly in the Norwich area. And also, if people are interested specifically in learning more about them, then we also have our own EV leasing business that we're very happy to guide people. We don't, to help people work out what the best types of vehicles are for individual needs. So that's kind of my one ask. Please spread the word and talk to us about EV leasing. We also have a website focused on that as well. So I just, summarising and finalising, and I'm sure a number of you have heard me say this before, but it's just got more and more staff. This situation that we're in is on our watch. The solutions are within our reach. It's evident from the IPCC and what the solution that you're standing in now. The stakes have never been higher. And this is our final chance. It is up to every one of us, not just me, not just our team, every single one of us in this room, outside of this room, to deliver the impact. If it's actually going to happen, if we're actually going to say, you know what, I was in that room where this guy was telling us the IPCC said we've got less than 1,000 days to transform it. If we're going to say this to our grandchildren in, however many years' time from now, wouldn't it be better to go around and say, you know what, we rose to that challenge, and we did it. We knocked it out of the park. We are the ones that did it. But at this moment in time, that's not going to happen based on the trajectory, but it could. And it's down to every single one of us to achieve this. It is our collective responsibility to rise to this challenge and to deliver. So, thank you everybody for being here. Let's continue to rise to this responsibility. Thank you for all the support that you continue to give us. Let's deliver net zero together. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to a very bustling Gridserve forecourt, electric forecourt in Norwich. Yes, this is the one they've just opened and it's excellent. Slightly different design to the forecourt we've visited several times in Granville. As you can see, it's mostly undercover here. So there's a smaller footprint, which makes it slightly more challenging to get everything in, but they've basically done similar things to the previously done. So there's a substantial number of 350k chargers on site, all working really well today. I was getting 150 kilowatts easily on my EV6. In fact, it charged so quickly I've had to move it to allow other people to charge. But yeah, let's take a trip inside. So the only thing I've got against it at the moment is that you can see all the chargers are undercover, but this piece here is not undercover, so you have to walk from your car to the door and maybe get slightly wet, but I guess there's ways around that. Lift going up if you want it, and then you've got stairs up here. It's a glorious view as you come up here through the Gridserve logo. And this is a really convenient site for the trip from Peterborough to Great Yarmouth, that sort of route, or anywhere sort of A14, A11, A47 type area. Off the roundabout, no direct access off the roundabout. You have to come through this new industrial centre, but that's going to have lots of shops and things on it, so it's going to be pretty good. And then as you come through here, as you can see, we've got the Marks and Spencer's behind me, the usual set of cars on display. Obviously Gridserve do also lease electric cars, very good deals they have, well worth looking into. And you've got all the normal sort of seating arrangements you had at Braintree, although it's all on one level. Slightly more compacted, slightly less meeting rooms, for example. I must say it's very bustling here today, lots and lots of people, but it's a jolly nice experience, I have to say. So you've got Marks and Spencer's, as I mentioned. Also I can walk through here, we have W.H. Smith's. So everything you could need when you stop for a break. And as before, the meeting rooms, and behind me this way, Costa. Excellent stuff. Probably recognise a few of the people behind me today. YouTubers all. But yeah, it's definitely well attended, this, and it's been really, really good so far. This is a very good facility, great location, and it charges incredibly quickly on my EV6. Well, I think this has been a very successful launch. This is a great facility, as you saw from Toddington saying there, and it is very inspiring to hear him talk. So yeah, I really enjoyed my trip here. I highly recommend it as a place to stop en route if you're going past Norwich, and a lot of people will be.